Hey loves, it's Marie Rigel, and you're tuned into The Mo Show, where I aspire to inspire your mind, body, and soul. And as you guys can see, I have two special guests with me today. Angelique.
And I am Elaine Inspired.
Yes, follow her. I'll link her page down below. So this is my cousin and this is my sister. And today we're going to be talking about name pronunciation. So what inspired this video was at work during a professional development. I watched a video that talked about pronouncing people's names correctly. And in my school where I work, we are about 70% ESL. And then mixed all between, and then maybe about 5 to 6% white. So they're just within that demographic, you can tell there's going to be a lot of names that are not common European names that everyone may be able to pronounce. But it's important to still get every student's name right, and that's something that I aspire to do. Now, I will admit, with the Hispanic names, I cannot roll my R's, so they're gonna get the R, and I can't do the sound, and so I just do the best I can with that. But I'm gonna make sure that I'm pronouncing it correctly. And one thing I notice with my students, sometimes when I say their name, and then I'll look at them because they make a little face, but they don't correct me, and I'm like, is that how you say it? They're like, well, you can say like this in English and like this in Spanish. And I'm like, okay, well, what does your mom say? So then I go with whatever name their mom says. So like, say a name is like Angel, and this is a very common Hispanic name, Angel for a boy. At home, they may say Angel instead of Angel. So me saying Angel just because I Americanized the word is not correct, because at home, their mom calls them Angel, I'm going to call you Angel. And if they're, some parents may just go with Americanizing their child's name, which is fine, but I'm going to call you whatever your mom calls you, because that's the person who birthed you, and I think they know the name better than anybody else. So I try to make that a point to make sure I get all of my students' names correct. And if I mispronounce it, I tell them to tell me so that I can get it right. Because we all have names that are not common, very unique names. And I'm not going to say they're difficult or ghetto or anything like that, because they're not. They're actually all beautiful names. They're names that are not common, which we don't want to be common. Like, we have different names and we embrace them and we love our names. And it's important that people get them right too. So I'm kind of going to, we're going to start with each person telling variations that they've heard their name being called. Nina, if you want to start. And tell them how to spell your name.
So my name is Nina, like the number 9, and then and that's usually what I tell people so they can get it right. It's spelled N apostrophe N-I-N-A-H. And usually people will say, it's always like somebody calling Ro, they'll always be like, I'm just gonna get this name wrong.
When they get to your name,
every time, like I know my name's coming up because they say I'm gonna butcher this name. I'm gonna get this name wrong. I'm gonna butcher this. Like, what does that even mean? But they say Nanina, which they say they can understand that. I don't understand how you get Nanina, but they say it's the 2 N's, whatever. Or Nina, like. Yeah, I don't think I've gotten anything other like.
Has anyone ever pronounced it correctly? Like on the first try?
Yeah, actually, but more so recently, which is weird. Like a couple months ago, I called Sprint and they said my name correctly the first time.
Did you get so shocked?
Yeah, I was
right. and then they're looking like, well, it was, and I'm like, well, you'd be surprised how many people couldn't get. They're like, why not?
Like, yeah, or even like when I went to college, it's some people you don't know, like. You don't know, but they know you. You know what I mean? And they was just saying my name, just all kind of crazy. And they just be like, whatever that girl's name is, the girl with the just start describing you because they can't see your name.
Because they think like when you meet somebody on social media or something, and like they think, and you maybe know them on social media, but when you get in person, they're like, oh yeah, right. You're like, and they confident with it, like. That's not it. Like, you think you know me, but you don't really know.
You don't have to pronounce my name. You don't know me. But yeah. I don't think I get anything like crazy pronunciations. It's just always wrong. It's just always, those two is always wrong. Like, only maybe a couple times in my entire lifetime, by a couple too, where somebody actually said it right. But
yeah. What about you?
So my name is Angelique. That's spelled Angellie, and an accent on the E. And a lot of times I either get Angelique angelic, Angela, Angelica. Nothing with the QE or
You just took it off. Like they didn't know how, so they just took it straight off.
Yeah, and so like with pronunciation, I try to make sure I emphasize the eek on the end so that, you know, but a lot of the times they just, oh, Angel, or, you know, they try to like abbreviate my name or try to give me like a nickname or, you know, something short.
But it's like, even if you get, yes, you have a nickname, but if I didn't tell you that, don't make one. You don't know me. If I wanted to introduce myself as my nickname, then I would have done that.
Yeah, that's
like,
right.
Don't, just because you're lazy or like the video we watched or you can't get it right or for whatever reason you cannot pronounce it doesn't mean that you are able to give me another name. Like you can ask me again or say, you know how you just say like, oh, or whatever it is, or that name is too much. Can I call you? Yeah, no, you can't just call me that. Like, and it's not that. And that's the thing. It's not that hard to get someone's name correct. You know, it's a part of their identity. It's very important. Like the guy in the video, he went from 5th grade all the way to through high school with them pronouncing his name wrong. Like, no, and putting it wrong on stuff just because you don't know how to get a Hispanic accent or roll your R. If you can't roll your R, it's rough. Just make it happen. Like. Do the best you can, and the best you can is not making a nickname for me. It's
and it's simply about just sitting there and like when you meet someone, like let me make sure I get this right, and just like go over it for a couple of seconds. It really doesn't take even like a minute to.
It doesn't.
Yeah, and just continue to practice on the name so that going forward, again, you're still being respectful and you're addressing them correctly.
Yeah, and it takes kind of the pressure off of like the person whose name it is to have to keep reminding you if you say, okay, I got it, but if I get it wrong again, correct me. Because a lot of times, and especially being kids, like we don't always want, as a kid, sometimes you're a little more timid to correct adults and things like that. But if the person kind of opens that door like, hey, if I get it wrong, make sure you correct me. Like I said with my students, I'm like, correct me. If I'm saying your name wrong, there's no harm in that. And so I'm going to get to what you said about the teacher, but I want to say my piece about my name. My name is More, accent over the E-T. So usually people will leave it off and just put M-O-R-E-T. Some people put the apostrophe. And I let the apostrophe slide because sometimes you can't put the accent over there and I'm going to make it work. But
I thought it was apostrophe.
Yeah, it's an accent.
I never knew it was accent.
It's an accent. Whole life didn't know.
Wow. So you know to hold it.
Yes, exactly. Moray. And it's just like E.T. like buffet, ballet, Chevrolet.
Yeah. Come
on, guys. Like, why can't we get this right? So I get Monet, not an N anywhere in that. So that means you were going too fast. You know how to pronounce French. You know the E.T. is A, but you just looked at that R and thought it was an N. Okay. Mm-hmm. Or saw Hermes say it in Moray and you found something. You found an N somewhere. Or I get Moret or Morty. Morty is just makes me cringe. But Moret is like the one I get the most. And I can see if you're just not cultured in names and y'all just got names like.
But then it's like, are you just making that assumption of my name because you think because I'm black? That's how I should be, no.
Right, that it should be, exactly. Like,
it should be extra, no.
Something that, right, sometimes it's not even extra. Angelique.
That's it. It's
like, why I just don't understand. Yeah, so that's a good point. That people, sometimes they just like, oh, this is just going to be a ghetto name, so let me just add some extra stuff and some extra letters. Like, a little razzle dazzle.
Maybe it's right.
No. So I get that wrong. And as a kid, my mom's like, before I probably would remember, my mom used to tell me that I would always correct people and tell people M-O-R-E, accent over the E-T. And so as a kid, I did that. But kind of growing up, I would correct people too. But like sometimes it's like that battle between, it's like telling your name one time, like the doctor's office. And they're like, Moret. And then you just go because they're talking to you and you're not going to come around them again. Like one time things, it's like, do y'all correct people every single time?
Now I do.
You know what I'm saying though? Like if you're just off and they just call your name, they're like.
Yeah, but I think like even then, like a lot of the times what I experience is they'll just, like when I don't want to correct them, because they'll be like, Nina, and it's almost like a voice of disgust. Like it makes me feel like my name is just
like, is
not
that right?
Yeah, like it's just not. I don't know.
It's not worthy
of yeah. So I just,
whatever you're saying.
And then you just
like it's ridiculously difficult, and I just don't take
and then I feel like subconsciously you just get discouraged and you just be like, whatever, like you're just used to it. But I think like now that I've like identified that, it's like, no, this is the name my mama gave me. Yeah. This is my name. You're going to call me by my name. So now at the doctor's office, a lot of people now say, is that right? And I'll say no, it's not. It's Nina. And then if people just don't, they just say your name and they don't.
It's just
say
a
my name and
bonus
don't
for
care.
me.
Yeah, like.
You really thought that was right though? Like,
but if they don't ask, like,
yes,
they just
you
say,
really thought that was right,
Nina, and just keep going, like, no, my name's Nina.
Like, if you feel like you're not confident in the name, you should make sure that it's correct.
Right.
Yeah, that's one thing for you to think like, oh, you got it right, like, but
it's some. How do you feel like you got in Angela?
Yeah,
you didn't get Angela right. You weren't even looking.
And like when you mention like in scenarios like the doctor's office and stuff like that, the only time I would feel the need to correct them is if they were just far off, like Angela or Angelica. Like, no, it's Angelique. Like you didn't see an extra A at the end. You didn't see a C.
You didn't see it, but you put it in there.
You put it in there, and that's the only time I feel the need to correct. But it is important to try to correct it each time.
Yeah. Especially if you're going to see that person again, because if you don't, then every time you, like when you meet someone, if you don't correct them, not somebody's that's going to be your friend, obviously you will correct them, but when you meet somebody and you don't correct them, like a teacher or something, like that boy in the video, he just didn't correct him, so they kept saying his name wrong.
Changed his whole name on
like,
IDs and all of that.
Just makes no sense. But if you never correct someone, they're likely to not know how to say your name. So another thing I was gonna say, like, so how did you? And so we call her Des, family nickname Des. How did we get from Des? And you go by Angie. So, okay, we're going to get into the whole nicknames.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we all have nicknames as well. And it's like, what kind of, do you even know how we started calling you Des, which is Desiree for her middle name?
Yeah. So that was really only the reason why, because that was my middle name and that's what my, in-home family was calling me by. But it was problematic because when I got to school, I didn't know who Angelique was. So
Angelique?
Yeah, like my siblings didn't know who Angelique was, and there was a scenario.
Oh, identity crisis.
Yeah, like my sister had came to get me out of class, and she called me Des, and I'm like, I don't know who that is. Teacher didn't know who that is, and then it was like a whole problem because it's like, she's concerned because like I can't leave with her. The teacher's not.
Yeah, because this is not your name.
Yeah, you're not saying the right name, but. Then, once I, learned my name and got to school, I realized that my name was hard to pronounce to other people because it's a common name, but it's not really common in my area.
Right.
So that's when I just started going by Angie to make it more easy for people to address me. Like, because it's awkward to constantly having to address or correct people. So it's like, just call me Angie.
Right. And so did you go by, in elementary,
I didn't. I was Angelique all the way up until about like the 5th grade, and then once we got to
and then the switch into like where you used to live in Johnson County, and then moving to KCK, and how people like pronounce names and stuff. Then too would be a different thing.
Yep. And a lot of the time, like it got to the Angie part in Johnson County because again they just like teachers didn't want to say my name was too long. I had like the longest characters in the name and stuff, so. They were just trying to cut my name short. I'm like, okay, I'll go by Angie. That's how I feel.
And it's important just in general for your kids to know. Y'all, these kids in my school, they don't even know. First day of school, they don't know their name. And even if they don't know English, okay, como se llama? You know what I'm saying in Spanish. They can't tell you their name. And then it's like, if you couldn't spell your name going into kindergarten, because y'all want to call me Angie, and I have all the rest of these letters, it's going to take a minute for a student who has a lot of letters to learn their name. So give them the entire thing so they have a chance to like kind of catch up with it.
I just feel like that's really disrespectful as a teacher. Like as someone who's in a role to be trying to teach a child something and you're just shrinking their identity to make yourself comfortable. Like that's ridiculous.
Especially for an adult who is teaching language and things, like you can say Angelique. It is absolutely phonetically spelled. Angelique. That's not hard. But what about, so you go by Elaine.
Yeah, so Elaine is my middle name, and well, for a long time I just did not like that name, but I felt like as time went on and I got older, Nina was just a thing, like, I think it was when I was in college, and a lot of my social media was Elaine, just because, I don't know, but everybody in college thought that my name was Elaine. Like, nobody knew that my name was Nina, except for maybe like 2 people that knew me before I went to college, and they were just like I said earlier, they were just like, Nina, the girl with the.
Yeah,
so
I'm
like,
calling you Elaine because that's what your social media
that's what my social
I know
media
you,
is.
so
Yeah.
now, Elaine. Just like,
yeah, and it's crazy because people that actually did know me, they'll be like, Elaine, and they'll be looking like, who is that? Who is that?
Don't know her by that name.
That is funny, but yeah, so I just started going by Elaine, and I don't know, that's just kind of what it is.
But even like, and I mean, I didn't go to college with you or anything like that, but like, we know if somebody called you Elaine, like, to me it's a little weird to hear people call you Elaine, because I'm just like, that's not your name, you know.
Yeah.
It really is Peanut, but I mean, we digress. Family name. But also for me, I guess in college too, for me, so I've gone by Murray my name is Murray. I've gone by Murray. My teachers call me Murray. Now I will say, like, as far as family nicknames, my dad's side of the family called me like Momo, and then in my church family, and then like my mom's side of the family called me Ray Ray. So just put the name down the middle, Ray Ray, Momo, Ray Ray, and went with that. But I will say, once I went to college, I did kind of the thing where I was just like, just call me Mo.
Yeah.
And so, and throughout college, everybody everybody called me Mo. They're like, what's your name? And I say Mo. Yes, and that's what, everybody in college like called me Mo. And so it'd be like, you know, and it's a lot of Mo. Mo is a common nickname. So then they're like, which Mo? They're like, cheerleader Mo or short Mo, you know, whatever. Mo from Kansas City. Like, it's just a lot of different variations when you have a common nickname. But so a lot of people didn't even know my name was Murray. Like, in college, I would probably say 90%. If you weren't my friend, like my actual immediate friend, you didn't know my name was Murray. You went by Mo, and they thought it was Moesha or Monique.
Yeah,
and it's like,
names.
and it's like, why couldn't it be like, I don't know.
Why couldn't it be Mo?
Why couldn't it just be Mo, or why did you have to give me something you thought was ethnically correct? And mind you, I went to an HBCU, so everybody there, most people there were black anyway. But it's just that mindset of like, oh, your name is Mo, you're shortening it, it's got to be Monique or Moesha. And I don't know anybody in the world named Moesha besides the actual show, so I don't know why they would keep saying that. Maybe it was a joke. But yeah, so in college I went by Mo. And I mean, I like Mo. Mo is fine. But last weekend, so I met one of my best friend. My best friend had a thing at his house, and I met a girl, and he was introducing me to the girl, and he was like, yeah, this is Mo. And he doesn't call me Mo. This is a college thing. So best friend is not a college person. This is a person who's known me longer than that. And then he was like, yeah, this is Mo. And I said, who? Like, I said, no. I said, first of all, you don't even call me that. Don't introduce me to somebody by a nickname. And that's something that I'm firm on too. Like, don't just kind of nickname me. It's like opposite now. Like in college, all people knew was nickname. Mm-hmm. But in my like outside world life, I just feel like unless I introduce myself as my nickname, you just call me Murray. Because I realized how problematic I put myself in college by just shortening my name so it could be easier for people to pronounce. It's like, no, if I know you, then you should call me a nickname. Not I give you a nickname just because you can't pronounce it. It should be something that I feel people close to me who have like earned the right to know my name. You know, you should know, everybody you know should know your actual name outside of just a nickname. Like, and if they don't know your full name, they don't actually know you. So I feel like, you know, my name first, and then we can go to a nickname if if I feel comfortable with that. But don't just give me a nickname because you know, and they're like, my name is Murray. Okay, well, do you have a nickname? Like,
no.
Yeah. No, I don't.
Because it can also, like, as adults, it can take away from, like, your professionalism. Like, even, like, with, you know, even with you having, you know, a counseling business and, you know, YouTube, you know, if you're addressing me by Mo, like, if something big happens and you want your name on something,
I want my name to be Murray. Yeah. Mo, it could be million Mo's in the world, be a million Elaines, million Angies. No, you want
that my name is unique.
Actual, right? Exactly. So that's a really good point. So I guess we kind of talked about like, do you correct them? And so that's something. What about as a child? Or I guess you can tell your story.
Yeah, one time it was my freshman year in high school, and there was a sub. And
talk about the demographic of like the teaching population or area. Was she a white woman?
Yeah, she was a white woman, and I went to a high school. It was very, 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 very diverse. So it was. We had teachers kind of like from everywhere, but it was still a problem, no matter who it was, like with my name. But this lady was a white woman, and she was very like, I don't know, I be feeling like substitute teachers be coming in like they got something to prove because they don't get respect because they're a substitute teacher, you know? Like, the class is like, party, but anyways, the substitute teacher said my name wrong and just went on to the next name, and I said, my name is Nina, and she sent me out. She sent me out to go to the principal. I was blurting out and I was being disruptive.
Not blurting out.
Excuse me, like, I would just never forget that. Like, I didn't get in trouble for that when I went home because...
But did you get in trouble at school, like outside of her, like when you got sent out?
I can't remember.
Or did she just send you outside of the room?
No, she sent me to the principal's office because I was blurting out and I was being disruptive and disrespectful for correcting myself.
You're disrespectful for saying my name.
I don't think they said anything to me when I went to the office. Like, I think I really think that this was a troublesome sub. Like,
she had all the problems.
Yeah, like, I just couldn't believe that. Like, you felt disrespected because I corrected you. Instead of me feeling disrespected that you did not pronounce my name right and just skipped over it to the next person, like I wasn't nothing. Like, I really think like it is as deep as it sounds. Like, you're taking away from somebody's identity, their whole identity.
Like, you don't care.
Saying you don't matter. Like,
especially as a kid, with children, you should take the time to again talk to them about their names, because again, like, you're learning identity, your personality,
learning letters and stuff too. Like, you should be able to pronounce it correctly. And as a kid, like, I should be able to say my name correctly too. I shouldn't be walking around thinking my name is something, one thing, and then I get 20 years old, look at my birth certificate,
and be like,
like, and that's not what's on there. Like, it's good to teach them.
And then, like, I feel like even there was some point in my life where somebody would say my name wrong, and they would be like, oh, did I say it right? And I was just like, I know, it's crazy, but I got away from that too because, like, no, there's nothing crazy about my name. There's nothing.
It's different.
It's different. Like, it's just different.
But it's not that you cannot say it. Like,
it's capable. You can.
Yeah. Or like when people, that's the thing that I try to, like, sometimes in my coworkers will even say, like, you know, they got some crazy name or some weird name. I'm like, no, it's not crazy. It's not weird. It may be ethnic, and as far as like Hispanic names, originally Hispanic names, and they're like, yeah, they got some crazy names somewhere. I'm like, change your language around it. Like, I know, and a lot of times they're not meaning any harm behind it, but change your language. It's not crazy. It's not weird. It's not out of this world. It's something different that you've never heard. And I'm sorry, your name is Becky, Bob, Billy, and everybody has
Ashley.
Samantha.
Okay. Sorry to all of y'all who those are your names.
It's not unique. It's
not, and that's the point made clear. It's not unique, and unfortunately or fortunately, these people have names that you have never heard of, something very different. And one thing I will say about my name is people do say, oh, that is a beautiful name. Like, they really, really love how my name is said, about my name. But I'm telling you, the spelling gets them every time. Like, I've had so many variations of how to spell my name, and it's like crazy. But like, some certain things, when you grow up with a name that is different from everyone else's name, you just grow up knowing certain things are going to happen. Like you said, on the roll. I know who's before and after me.
Right.
I'm like, okay, when they get to me, they're not going to get it right. And like, graduating from college, we had to put your name on the little name card, and I'm like, and then you have to do the phonetic, like, how do I pronounce it? And I'm like, I don't really know. I think I did like MORE-AYE. I did like A, like more A, and it's good that they wanted to get it right. I do appreciate that, but it's just a struggle. Sometimes I be like, and I hate that I feel so. I'm sometimes like, Mom, why would you, not my name in general, but why would you spell it this way? Like, it's just, yeah. And that took a long time for me to really accept the spelling, because I'm just like, extra little thing here. And so, yeah. So like at Starbucks, I'm just not gonna let y'all butcher my name.
Especially y'all not about to. I want it on my cup. I want to put it on Snapchat. Y'all not about to put it all crazy.
Yeah.
But I like that anxiety that you get, like when someone is calling roll and you're like listening, like last
they
name
call you
ABCD
for?
or after, like you know your name is coming up, like you just waiting, anticipating.
And what if you're a shy and quiet person? Like those
It's
people are
intimidating.
way less likely to correct someone about their name.
Yeah.
Or like when you're going up for an award and you're like, you know, on the roll, you're in your little bitty class, I'll correct you, keep it moving. But when you're going up for an award, your family is there. Right, your family is there. Your mom expects to hear your name right, and then they say,
that's horrible.
More tea, more red, and it's just like,
I don't know. I would be up there telling them to do it again. I would we will pause the whole thing and start over. That's so disrespectful.
And and you're someone who is like, you know, not shy and not you know, you're able to speak up for yourself.
Yeah.
But imagine someone very, very quiet who just gets overlooked in general. Then that's the Jerry's, the Gerard, the guy in the video who just let somebody just disrespect his name like that. And it's just unfortunate that a lot of families from different countries, you know, Mexico, Honduras, Guatemala, African countries, you know, things like that, who come over here, and the people who are Americans feel very entitled and microaggressions, and they think they can Americanize someone's name when that's part of their identity.
Yeah.
Like if their mom wanted to name them that, they would have named them that. Like don't try to make their name Angel when it's Angel, if we just using that example. And so I think that it's really important, or we all think it's really important to get people's names correct.
Say it right. Say my name.
It's respect.
Say it right.
Put some respect on it.
Put some respect on our names. Y'all have anything else y'all want to add before we wrap up?
No, I think it was a good piece.
Yeah.
Good conversation.
Yeah, it's something very important. If you are one of those people out there watching this video and you do not get people's names correct and you think that, oh, it's fine, whatever their name is. No, it's not whatever their name is. Because you want your name, even if your name is as simple as Sarah, to be spelled correctly or to be pronounced correctly and spelled correctly. That's two different things. Then you should do that for other people.
Siri need to work on it too.
Siri. What she say?
Siri? You ever heard Siri say your name?
No, I've never heard her say my
name. Or like if somebody's calling you, they'll be like such and such, like
on your Alexa type of thing? Or?
No, like in my AirPods, like if Soraya texts me, it'll say Syria, or it'll say something so totally crazy.
Yeah,
like,
but you know they be British and some of the things just, you know, it's different for one thing for you to have an accent and pronounce it differently. But it's another thing for you to be straight from the United States of America.
Yeah, that's just
getting it wrong. It's very lazy because we're a melting pot, and everybody's name is not straight cookie cutter. It's not. So we digress. That's all we want to talk about today. Leave your name in the comments if you have a unique or different name that's not ghetto, crazy, or weird, as people will say they are, and tell us how people pronounce them too. Until next time, all right, guys. We'll see you in our next video. Bye.
Bye.